Children are proof that curiosity is powerful and that logic is optional. 1. The moon problem. A 6-year-old once spent an entire afternoon explaining to his teacher that the moon follows him personally. Not humanity, not the car, him. When she tried to explain perspective and distance, he called her jealous. His argument? It doesn't follow you because you're inside. This kid had essentially reinvented narcissism as an astronomical theory. Somewhere, Galileo rolled in his grave while a child in Spider-Man pajamas claimed ownership of the solar system. 2. The invisible friend trial. A mother overheard her daughter in the living room holding what sounded like a legal proceeding. Turns out, the invisible friend Stacy was being put on trial for stealing crayons. The child defended Stacy passionately, then turned to herself and said, "Objection, overruled." When asked later how she could be both the lawyer and the judge, she replied, "Because I'm fair." Congratulations, Your Honor. You've just invented corruption and efficiency in one sitting. 3. The Wi-Fi theory of life. One boy confidently told his dad that babies are born when moms connect to the hospital Wi-Fi. His logic, because you have to sign in to get a baby out. When the father asked where the password comes from, the kid said, "From love." That's either the dumbest or the most poetic explanation for human reproduction ever conceived. Imagine explaining that to a biology teacher. Yes, life begins at full signal strength. 4. The refrigerator debate. A 6-year-old refused to believe that refrigerators don't work harder when you open them. His theory: the light inside tells the food it's time to chill. When his dad tried to demonstrate by unplugging it, the kid screamed, "You killed the food." That's not a science lesson. That's the emotional trauma of a boy who thinks leftovers have souls. Somewhere, a Pixar writer took notes. 5. The dinosaur extinction plan. A little girl explained to her class that dinosaurs went extinct because they didn't believe in meteors. When asked who told her that, she proudly said, "No one? I figured it out." A kid just merged theology and paleontology into one chaotic TED Talk. Scientists spent decades studying fossils, while she cracked extinction with pure confidence and zero evidence. Honestly, NASA should hire her for morale. 6. The Grand Theft Candy Incident. A 5-year-old was caught with a pocket full of stolen M&Ms. When confronted, he said, "I didn't take them. My hands did." He then followed up with, "You should talk to them, not me." That's a level of legal separation that corporate lawyers dream about. If toddlers ever run for office, we're doomed. They've already mastered plausible deniability. 7. The electricity revelation. A child once explained that electricity is made by tired light bulbs sighing. He described it as their little glowing breath. When an engineer relative tried to correct him, the kid got offended. Then why do they turn off when they're sad? Honestly, he's not wrong. If my boss made me glow for 12 hours straight, I'd sigh too. 8. The time travel catastrophe. A kid told his babysitter that he could time travel, but only when he naps. His proof? Because when I wake up, it's later. Technically correct, and yet completely missing the point. He claimed he visited the future and saw himself older, eating chips and watching SpongeBob. You can't argue with that. Congratulations, kid. You just invented relativity and snacking. 9. The Tooth Fairy inflation debate. A kid marched into his parents' bedroom at 6 a.m., holding a dollar bill and the fury of a betrayed economist. "Last year my tooth was worth $5, he said. "This one was bigger. Why did it depreciate?" His dad mumbled something about inflation, which only made things worse. So, the Tooth Fairy is broke now? The kid spent the rest of the day drawing a protest sign that said, "Pay teeth fairly." Somewhere, an economist cried, and a parent Googled how to explain macroeconomics to a small capitalist. 10. The car speed mystery. A 7-year-old was convinced his family's car went faster when everyone leaned forward together. He called it helping the car. His mom told him that's not how aerodynamics work. He replied, "Then why does it feel faster?" This same child later suggested that airplanes only fly because passengers believe hard enough. Congratulations, kid. You've reinvented Peter Pan physics, and somewhere, Newton is eating an apple in shame. 11. The peanut butter emergency. A little boy tried to explain why he stuck peanut butter in the DVD player. The movie was stuck, so I gave it a snack. When told that machines don't eat, he doubled down. Then why does it open its mouth? Honestly, hard to argue. That's sound toddler logic. If adults fix things by feeding them, your Wi-Fi router would probably have its own lunchbox by now. 12. The invisible dog conspiracy. A girl explained to her babysitter that dogs only bark when humans are lying. That's why they bark at the mailman, she said confidently. He says he's delivering mail, but he's actually spying for cats. The babysitter tried to reason with her, but she had a full PowerPoint made from construction paper titled "The Truth About Barking." Somewhere between cat government and dog justice, she had basically written a toddler version of a conspiracy podcast. 13. The Banana Communication Network. A boy was caught talking into a banana like a phone. When asked who he was calling, he said, "The grocery store. I'm checking on his family." His mom tried to explain that bananas don't have families. The kid looked horrified. Then why do they come in bunches? And just like that, AE, child discovered empathy, telecommunication, and emotional fruit therapy in one sentence. If Apple marketed this as Banana 2.0, people would probably buy it. 14. The soap economics. A kid refused to wash his hands after playing in the mud. His reasoning? If I use too much soap now, there won't be any left when I'm grown up. His mom told him stores sell more soap. He shook his head and said, "That's what they want you to think." This is what happens when you raise a kindergartner who's already suspicious of capitalism. Somewhere, a future prepper is born, just waiting to hoard dish soap in 2045. 15. The alphabet betrayal. A 5-year-old burst into tears mid-kindergarten lesson, claiming the alphabet was a scam. When the teacher asked why, he said, "You told me there are 26 letters, but sometimes Y pretends to be a vowel. That's lying." He spent the rest of the day writing a strongly worded letter to the person who made the alphabet demanding an apology. It was signed, "From a betrayed student." Somewhere, the ghost of an ancient linguist just got subpoenaed by a crayon. 16. The cloud storage confusion. A 7-year-old asked his dad why they call it cloud storage. After a short explanation about the internet, the kid frowned and said, "So, all my photos are just floating above us?" His dad said, "Sort of." The child immediately ran outside and yelled, "Everyone stop breathing! You'll mess up my Minecraft world." 10 minutes later, he was trying to cover the sky with a blanket. Somewhere in Silicon Valley, an engineer felt a disturbance in the force, the exact moment when metaphor defeated science. 17. The fish freedom movement. A child once demanded that her mom free the fish from the aquarium because they look bored. When told they can't live outside the water, she snapped, "Then fill the backyard with water." This kid's environmental plan was 90% compassion, 10% flood damage. Later that week, she tried to flush her goldfish back to his family in the ocean, proving that Pixar movies are secretly responsible for 80% of plumbing disasters. 18. The snack time paradox. A kindergartner explained to his teacher that he doesn't have to eat vegetables because they already died. When the teacher said vegetables are plants, not people, he asked, "Then why do you cut them up?" The logic spiraled until he shouted, "So you admit it, salad is a crime." Somewhere, a vegan just felt emotionally attacked and didn't know why. If this kid ever goes to law school, the produce aisle won't survive the cross-examination. 19. The gravity denier. A 5-year-old confidently told his mom that gravity isn't real. It's just the floor being clingy. His evidence: if gravity was real, balloons wouldn't get away. When shown a physics video, he muttered, "That's fake news from the sky." Somewhere, Isaac Newton just threw an apple in frustration. This child is one slippery slope away from founding the Flat Playground Society. 20. The language revolution. A little girl once announced to her family that English is too slow, so she invented her own language. She called it fast talk, and it mostly consisted of yelling gibberish at full volume while glaring at anyone who didn't understand. When her dad said, "You just made that up," she replied, "So did the guy who made English." And honestly, she's not wrong. Linguistics professors should probably just retire now. A 6-year-old cracked the code on how every language actually started. Stubborn confidence and chaos. 21. The vacuum time machine. A boy explained to his babysitter that the vacuum cleaner doesn't suck up dirt, it sucks up time. His proof: whenever mom vacuums, everything gets quiet and takes forever. When she told him that's not how time works, he doubled down. Then why does my snack always take longer when she cleans? Somewhere, a physicist fainted while a toddler invented the most relatable theory of relativity ever. Housework creates time dilation. 22. The broken thermometer. A child looked at a thermometer showing 98 degrees and confidently said, "It's wrong. The house doesn't feel like 98 houses." When his dad tried to explain that degrees aren't actual houses, the kid interrupted, "Then why call it room temperature? It's literally a room." Logic check: 100% broken. Confidence level: infinite. By the end of the conversation, the father wasn't sure if he was teaching science or losing a debate to a very small lawyer. Somewhere, a meteorologist just gave up and switched to interpretive dance. 23. The solar panel pantry. A second grader explained to his dad that solar panels catch sun slices, and you're supposed to store them in the refrigerator so they don't melt at night. When Dad said electricity doesn't come in slices, the kid opened the fridge, pointed at the light, and said, "Then why is there sun in here?" He drew a diagram showing the roof panels sending sunshine down the wire water slide into the cold sunshine box, where it waits until the TV gets hungry. When told that batteries, not fridges, store energy, he shook his head. Batteries are for toys. The TV is a grown-up. Somewhere, a utility engineer whispered, "I wish it worked like that," while a child proudly invented the world's dumbest smart home. 24. The mirror negotiation. A kid stood in front of the bathroom mirror trying to convince his reflection to stop copying. His argument: "I'm older because I'm on this side." When Dad explained symmetry, the kid countered, "If he's not copying, ask him to spell my name backward." Dad wrote it on a sticky note, held it to the glass, and the kid gasped. "He's cheating with letters that already know how to flip." The debate escalated into a treaty. Proposal: he can keep the left side of the sink if he promises to be original. 10 minutes later, the child reported progress. "We're sharing the toothpaste now. Congratulations, you just watched a 5-year-old invent intellectual property law for Reflections." 25. The library late fee defense. A first grader returned a book 6 weeks late and explained to the librarian that late fees are actually rent because the book lived at my house. When told the fine encourages returning books on time, he offered a payment plan in crayons and one good rock. He argued the library benefited from exposure because he read it to 3 stuffed animals, which counts as a community event. When Mom apologized, he added, "And I did the author a favor by adding sound effects." The librarian, a saint, waived the fee and thanked him for the public performance. He whispered to Mom, "See? Negotiations." Somewhere, a contract lawyer felt a chill, sensing a future rival who bills in good rocks. 26. The rain schedule. A child insisted rain is controlled by the school, specifically to ruin recess. Evidence A: it only rains when I wear my fast shoes. Evidence B: on weekends, it stops because teachers go home. When Dad tried the water cycle speech, she folded her arms. "Then why do sprinklers happen right after rain? That's double rain. Someone's in charge." She drafted a petition demanding that the principal move rain to sleep time after dinner because thunderstorms have loud stomps. Later, she put a cup outside to collect the rules. When Dad explained inches of rainfall, she corrected him. "Rain doesn't have inches, it has decisions." Somewhere, a meteorologist sighed and considered rebranding forecasts as suggestions. 27. The zebra barcode theory. At the zoo, a kid explained with TED Talk confidence that zebra stripes are barcodes the baby zebras scan with their eyes to remember the right mom. He mimed a beep sound and said, "Giraffes use Wi-Fi spots instead." When a keeper mentioned camouflage and herd confusion, the kid nodded. "Exactly. Password protection." He then asked if zookeepers carry a giant grocery scanner to do inventory. Mom said no, so he drew one on a napkin. "Beep the zebra, get the zebra receipt." He ended with a flourish. "Never pet the barcode or the price goes up." Somewhere, a biologist reconsidered decades of fieldwork while a 6-year-old patented wildlife retail. 28. The parking volume hack. A 7-year-old lectured his aunt that turning down the radio makes the car park better. "Engines can't think over music," he said. When she said volume doesn't change steering, he delivered pure science. "Why do you shush when backing up?" He dubbed it the parking volume law. Loud equals lost. Quiet equals aim. Then he added a highway clause. Music can be loud if the road is straight and the snacks are crunchy. He proposed an upgrade, steering wheels that mute the song when hands get sweaty. Honestly, he's not wrong. Somewhere, an automotive UX designer wrote sweat sensor volume on a whiteboard and pretended it was their idea. 29. The microwave shape theory. A kid explained that the microwave doesn't heat food, it makes it rounder. His exhibits: cold square butter that turns into a soft blob, frozen lasagna corners that relax, and marshmallows that puff their feelings. When Mom said it's about water molecules vibrating, he nodded solemnly. Vibrating into circles. He proposed microwaving his homework to round the sharp math. Denied, he microwaved a slice of pizza, then announced, "See? The point got tired." He finished with a safety disclaimer. Never microwave ice cream. It gets too round and runs away. Somewhere, a physicist wept, while a marketer scribbled "rounder, faster, softer" as a suspiciously convincing slogan. 30. The coffee truth. A 5-year-old told his teacher that grown-ups drink coffee to turn their brains from night mode to bossy mode. He described the sequence with clinical precision. Sip, sigh, and then adults say sentences with folders in them. When the teacher asked what coffee tastes like, he said, "Hot crayons, but in a fancy way." He believes coffee also changes eyesight. Before coffee, you can't find shoes. After coffee, you find my shoes and your patience. When told some adults don't drink coffee, he whispered, "That's why they whisper." Final verdict: juice makes you fast, milk makes you tall, coffee makes you loud about emails. Somewhere, a barista nodded, having witnessed this metamorphosis 200 times before 9 a.m. 31. The birthday candle science. A kid asked why we blow out birthday candles. His dad explained it's to make a wish. The kid frowned. "So, smoke sends wishes to space?" When told it's just tradition, he said, "Then why not email the wish? The Wi-Fi's faster." He spent the next 20 minutes blowing out random household candles, shouting, "Free wishes for everyone." Then he told his sister, "If you light them again, the wish comes back." Congratulations! This child just reinvented recycling, pagan ritual, and customer loyalty points all in one sugar-fueled theory. Somewhere, a scientist quietly took notes. Child logic makes quantum manifestation with frosting. 32. The pasta expansion hypothesis. A 7-year-old tried to explain why spaghetti grows in the pot. Because it gets proud when it's warm. He described noodles as sleeping snakes that wake up when you feed them water. When Dad said it's absorption, the kid said, "No, they just stretch so they can fit more sauce." He tested his hypothesis by soaking cold noodles in soda, announcing, "They'll grow sweet." The result: carbonated sadness. When Dad said it's science, he replied, "Science needs better sauce." Somewhere, a chef whispered, "Honestly, same." 33. The bedtime GPS. A little boy told his mom he sleeps on the same side of the bed every night so dreams can find me faster. When asked if dreams get lost, he nodded seriously. They don't have Google Maps. He claimed monsters hang out near the wall so he faces the door, in case good dreams need directions. When Mom asked what happens if he switches sides, he said, "Then I dream someone else's dreams." Honestly, that's creepier than any horror movie. Somewhere, Sigmund Freud sat up in his grave like, "Write that down." 34. The snack taxation system. A second grader explained to his mom that every bag of chips comes with an invisible mom tax. His evidence: she always takes the first chip. When she called it sharing, he said, "Sharing doesn't require sneak attacks." He then drafted a snack treaty: 1 chip toll per bag, payable only if Mom announces it out loud. "Surprise tax is theft," he said, handing her a crayon contract. Somewhere, the IRS just felt a ripple in the force, the birth of a snack libertarian. 35. The lost socks conspiracy. A 6-year-old told his teacher that washing machines don't lose socks, they hire them. His theory: the socks disappeared to start new lives in other people's dryers. He even drew a chart showing sock migration patterns, complete with arrows leading to unknown homes. When Mom said socks can't travel, he countered, "Then why do they leave in pairs and come back divorced?" Somewhere, a philosopher dropped their coffee. This child didn't just explain laundry, he summarized modern relationships, economics, and faith in household appliances all at once. 36. The Recycling Reincarnation Plan. A first grader explained to her dad that recycling isn't about saving the planet. It's about giving bottles another life as your older brother. She'd been told things come back as something new, so she decided her empty apple juice bottle would return as a teenager who knows algebra and rides a bike without hands. When Dad tried to clarify plastics and polymers, she waved him off. "I already named him Trevor." She marched the bin to the curb like a bassinet, whispering, "See you after middle school." Later, she checked every delivery truck for signs of Trevor the bottle boy. Somewhere, a sustainability officer sighed, realizing a 6-year-old had finally made recycling emotionally compelling and scientifically catastrophic. 37. The Seatbelt Speed Permit. A kid argued that seatbelts don't just keep you safe, they grant the driver permission to go faster. "Why else would you say buckle up right before zooming?" he asked. He'd graphed family data. The tighter Mom pulled the belt, the quicker the driveway disappeared. When told cause isn't effect, he proposed a test. "No belt, drive slow. Belt, go medium. 2 belts, go rocket." He suggested a lap belt for the dog to enable turbo walkies. Mom explained traffic laws. He countered with the ironclad physics of road trips. Snacks plus seatbelt clicks max highway. Somewhere, a highway patrol officer felt a disturbance. A tiny lawyer inventing the speed by buckle doctrine. 38. The Thunder Customer Service Theory. A 6-year-old insisted thunder is the clouds calling customer service about the lightning. He mimed a phone. "Hi, storm manager? Your light keeps flashing." When told sound follows light because it travels slower, he nodded gravely. "Exactly. The hold music." He proposed filing a noise complaint at bedtime. "Please stop troubleshooting after 8 p.m. To demonstrate, he clapped, flicked the lights, and waited. "See? Complaint, then boom." Dad mentioned heat expansion and shock waves. The kid said, "So, the sky burps because it ate a hot light?" Official ruling: storms are bad at tech support. Somewhere, a meteorologist updated the forecast from scattered thunderstorms to extended call with the cloud help desk. 39. The Sunscreen Superglue. A second grader explained sunscreen like a product demo. "It's glue that keeps the sun from sticking to you." He rubbed a stripe on his arm. "Now the sun slides off." When Mom said it blocks UV rays, he nodded. "Blocks, slides, same baseball." He argued SPF 50 is 50 slippies, and if you miss a spot, the sun high-fives your skin too hard. He pitched an upgrade: windshield wipers for shoulders. Also, wearing a hat bounces the sun back to space, which is generous of you. When Mom warned to reapply after swimming, he frowned. "Because the glue gets soggy." Somewhere, a dermatologist winced, then admitted sun high five is the best kid's explanation they've ever heard. 40. The Cursive Conspiracy. A kid accused his teacher of teaching cursive so adults can pass secret notes kids can't read. "It's just regular letters wearing wigs," he said, circling loops like suspicious mustaches. He presented evidence: shopping lists that look like roller coasters, signatures that are doctor scribble, and the fact that no video game uses cursive, so it must be for taxes. When told it's history and fine motor skills, he narrowed his eyes. "So, a secret handshake for pens." He proposed a compromise: children invent KidSiv, consisting entirely of lightning bolts and dinosaur tails. The teacher sighed, then admitted, "The signature part isn't entirely wrong." Somewhere, John Hancock did a flourish in approval. 41. The Library Printer Economy. A first grader believed libraries make new books by pressing the print button really hard. He stared at the catalog terminal and whispered, "If I hold shift, maybe it prints in hardback." The librarian explained publishers and warehouses. He countered, "Then where do bookmarks come from? Printer leftovers?" He tried to print a Shed Dragon book cover as a down payment on the story, promising to read the rest after the machine grows it. When the printer spit out a single page, he nodded. Okay, it's still a baby book. The librarian, a pro, stamped his checkout card and said, "We raise them on the shelves." Somewhere, a supply chain manager smiled at this beautiful, broken economy. 42. The playground democracy. A 7-year-old ran recess like a constitutional convention. "The swings have term limits," he announced. 2 minutes per butt. He created branches of government: slide, executive, sandbox, legislative, and monkey bars, judicial, because they judge you if you fall. Disputes over line cutting went to the bars. Do 3 hangs of justice. When a kindergartner appealed, he cited precedent. Last Tuesday versus my turn. A teacher suggested sharing. He said that's Article 1. He even wrote checks and balances in chalk, seesaw audits, to make sure fun is equal on both ends. By the bell, he'd invented recess law, impeachment, for gum on the seat, and a national anthem. We. Somewhere, Madison and Hamilton high-fived across time and promptly got whistled back to class. 43. The indoor rainbow department. A 6-year-old told his grandpa that rainbows happen when the sky uses a hose. He'd learned you can make a rainbow with a garden sprayer, so obviously the city just turns on the big hose after storms as a reward for good behavior. When Grandpa mentioned sunlight and refraction, the kid shook his head. No, that's the rainbow recipe, not who cooks it. He proposed filing a request with City Hall for birthday rainbows at exactly 3:15 p.m., preferably double. He even drew a diagram labeling the hose cloud, the color sprinkles, and a municipal worker named Dale who flips the rainbow switch. When Grandpa asked why rainbows sometimes show up over highways, the kid answered like a foreman, because Dale's on break and the hose leaks. Somewhere, a meteorologist quietly updated the forecast to 30% chance of Dale. 44. The smoke alarm chef. Rating: a kid explained that the smoke alarm isn't about safety. It's a taste buzzer that announces how flavorful dinner will be. 1 beep means yummy, 2 beeps means extra crispy, and 3 beeps is chef on fire, spicy. When Dad opened a window to silence the screeching, the kid yelled, "No, you're letting the flavor out." He suggested the family publish a cookbook with settings like toast level 2 drama and pizza siren style. When told the beeping means danger, he nodded gravely. Exactly. Danger is where the flavor lives. He proposed moving the alarm into the bathroom for less interruptions and setting a kitchen timer called Mild Panic. Somewhere, a firefighter face-palmed while a foodie coined a terrifying new trend: culinary arson as seasoning. 45. The piggy bank biology lesson. A 2nd grader shook his piggy bank and declared, "Hear that? The coins are making babies." He'd noticed more jingling after chore day, so clearly the quarters laid nickel eggs. Mom tried to introduce the concept of allowance and deposits. He countered with hard science. "I didn't put that many clinks in." He drew a life cycle on notebook paper: penny tadpoles, nickel pups, dime teenagers, quarter parents, dollar whales. He instituted a conservation policy: never spend quarters during breeding season, which apparently is always Saturday. When Mom withdrew cash to pay for pizza, he gasped, "You stole the parents." She compromised by returning a quarter to the pig's habitat, and he whispered, "Welcome home, sir." Somewhere, an economist screamed while a zoologist wondered if minting really counts as reproduction. 46. The pause button ethics. A child insisted that hitting pause on the TV freezes the actors' lives. "They hold their breath and wait," he said, staring at a sitcom dad mid-eye roll. He scolded his mother for pausing during dinner. "You're making them stand still with their mouths open." Later, he tried to send an apology letter to the network. "Dear show people, sorry we paused you while we ate spaghetti. You can move now." When told TV is recorded, he narrowed his eyes. "So you trapped them earlier." To test his theory, he paused a nature documentary and whispered, "Hang on, penguins." After 10 minutes, he pressed play, clapped, and announced, "See? They were patient." Somewhere, a film editor smiled, recognizing a future union rep for on-screen workers demanding regular unpause breaks and hazard pay for freeze frames. 47. The We'll See translation guide. A 7-year-old launched a pocket dictionary called Adult to Kid, Live Edition. Entry 1. We'll see. No, but later, and I hope you forget. Entry 2. Maybe? No, but I enjoy suspense. Entry 3. We don't have that at home. We absolutely have that, but not the brand that makes you feral in public. Entry 4. In a minute. After 3 holidays and tax season. He even added business jargon. Circle back. Please stop asking until I change cities. And great question. I have no idea. When Mom protested the cynicism, he added a hopeful exception. We'll see, grandma version. Yes, plus cookies. Honestly, it's the most accurate phrasebook since Rosetta Stone. Somewhere, a linguist sighed and admitted the kid just reverse-engineered parental diplomacy. 48. The Unified Kid Theory of Everything, Finale. For show and tell, a first grader rolled in a whiteboard and presented, How the World Works, You're Welcome. Slide 1. Babies arrive via hospital Wi-Fi. Password, Bach Love. Slide 2. Seatbelts unlock speed. Coffee unlocks bossiness. Sunscreen is sunglue. Slide 3. The moon follows him personally. Rain is scheduled by Dale, and the vacuum eats time. Slide 4. Money reproduces in piggy banks. Microwaves make things round, and the smoke alarm is a flavor meter. Slide 5. We'll see means no. Mirrors are copycats with boundary issues, and socks leave to start new dryer families. Final slide. Adults pretend science is complicated because they don't want kids touching the buttons. He ended with, Any questions? A room full of stunned parents clapped. He bowed and said, Good. That means I'm right. Somewhere, the actual universe shrugged and let him have this one. Still think you're rational? Tell me which explanation beats science in your house.